Yes, YouTube, welcome back to another video and thanks for joining me. So for those of you who keep chameleons or know anything about them, you'll know that humidity and hydration plays a massive part in keeping these animals healthy, and so important we try and replicate what they experience in the wild. So we want to know a little bit more about that, how we achieve that in captivity, and we'll also be making a DIY dripping system as well. So that's something interested in, make sure you stay tuned because that's all coming up right after this. So in today's video, we're going to be, what are we doing today? Okay, so like I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be looking at making a DIY dripper for Bert, and this is just to help him keep hydrated. Now there's lots of different ways of keeping humidity up and to keep your chameleon hydrated, and this is just one of them. Now I will go over some other forms of doing this, and we'll probably do a video entirely dedicated to humidity and hydration for panther chameleons in particular. So that's something interesting, and make sure you subscribe to miss any of those future videos. But why don't we crack on and get this made? Okay, so the things we need to use for today, we've got a hot glue gun. You can use silicone. I've also ordered some plastic jars, which we're going to need for the container. And also we've got, where's the gun? This, we've got a little valve, well, you might be able to see it there, but I'll put some closer up shots in anyway. But this is just to control the amount of water we want to drip into the enclosure. So these are the only materials you're going to need other than water. I'm sure you've all got access to water. So all I need to do is use one of these pots. Now obviously you needed plastic pots because we are going to be drilling it and don't fancy drilling glass. Now there's two different sizes. I'm going to try the smallest one first. Now you may see a lot of people using larger containers online. Now, I suppose, yeah, you can store more water in it, obviously, but I want to try and keep it relatively small. Oh, I think this is like the Russian dolls of pots. So, I don't want to add too much water in there. One, because of the weight on top of the tank, and two, because I don't want to put days worth of water in there. I want it to be fresh. So I'm going to just add normal water for some dechlorinator in here, and then hopefully we can change this every day or every other day. But obviously it depends how long it lasts. But I've got other jars there if we need to make any more, and we'll tackle that if it becomes an issue. So all we get, the other item we're going to need is one of these. So just a simple drill. All we need to do is just to make a small hole in it. Okay, so my rubbish drill, but we finally put a hole in there. Now I don't want to make the hole too big, just for any reason it becomes too big. I always make it a little bit bigger, so it needs to be a little bit bigger than that. Now what we'll do once we've done it is we'll put some hot glue around it to create a seal. So all I'm going to do is put the drill back in and just work it around a little bit. So hopefully that'll do the trick. Now we just want to add this into here. So that's what we're aiming for. So now we've got that on there and the glue is leaking all over the desk. We'll just need to put a seal around this. Okay, so I'm going to leave that dry for a minute. Now hopefully that's done the trick, but the hot glue gun did warp the plastic a little bit, so let's hope that it works. So the only other thing we'll do it in preparation anyway, is just to make a hole in the lid. Now if you don't do this, then it'll just create sort of like a vacuum and nothing will actually come out. So okay, so we're just going to leave it dry now. Hopefully it'll be watertight and then we can actually use it. Otherwise this is going to be a wasted video. So why don't we leave it dry for a sec, we'll crack on with some other things and I'll rejoin you in a little bit. Okay, so I wanted to swing by and show you the Firebelly's enclosure, just because we rescaped it a little bit in one of the last videos. So the fish are all doing fine, nothing really changed there. Like I said, I'm probably going to try and get rid of one of the males and add a couple of females in. And Firebelly's doing really well. Look at them posing for close-ups. Hey, what are you doing? So they're all doing fine. The plant's starting to grow in a little bit, but it looks like today the frogs have been trampling over the baby tears, so that doesn't look as great, but they should grow back and start growing up towards the light. And the only thing I think I'll change on this, other than the filter, which I mentioned last time, is I'm probably going to upgrade the lighting. I want to get some LED lighting on there, and I don't think it's Terra, I think it might be Zoomed that do the combination of LED lights and UVB, so I'll probably look at those and we'll upgrade that in the future. But I thought you'd appreciate just taking a look at the tank, because it has sort of sprung into life a little bit over the last couple of days, because when you first plant, the plant's not all upright and blah 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 blah. But if you want to see how we did this tank, then links down in the description, go and check it out. I know a lot of you really enjoyed that video and I'll be looking to make plenty more like that in the future. Okay, so time for the moment of truth. Let's grab some water. Okay, maybe I should grab a towel actually. Because I don't know about you, but I don't always trust my handiwork. Right, better be safe than sorry. Right, okay, let's get some water. Oh, it would leak because I got the tap on. And there we go. Okay, so we've got water in, that's dripping because I left it open. But we've got a seal, it worked! I'm a DIY expert, who did it? Okay, so all we need to do now, obviously we need to pop the lid on and put some more water in there actually. I've dechlorinated this water. Now a lot of people use distilled water or pour it through a filter, or you can just leave the water out and they'll get rid of the chloramines and the chlorine as well. So up to you what you want to do. Obviously, if you're using drippers, not drippers, misting systems, you probably want to use distilled water or at least put a dechlorinator in there, just because it can clog up your nozzles, things like that. With something like this, it's probably not going to matter too much, but I would say it can. Yeah, that's definitely working. It can leave marks and white spots and things on your plants just from all the minerals that are left over. So I prefer to try and do that if you can, but it's up to you whether you want to clean your plants or not. But I'm glad that's worked. Let's get a bit of tubing on it now, and then we can look to install. busy day. So we've managed to get the dripper done. It's absolutely boiling in here and there's stuff everywhere. So I need to have a little bit of a tidy up, but luckily somebody brought me some coffee. Thank you very much. Coffee makes everything better. So we finally got the dripper made. Now, we could have gone out and bought this. You can get drippers already made. I think they're maybe 10, 15 pounds, or I don't know, 15, $20, which can be easier, but I know a lot of you like making things or looking for cheaper ways of doing things. So I'll leave a link down in the description for all the items we've used. If you want to go out and make some instantly yourself. Obviously, if you purchase anything from those links, then it does help the channel. I earn a small commission, and I'll put that straight back into this room, into the animals and the filming equipment to just make this an overall better experience for you. Now that we're on that topic, obviously we've been looking at Bert the Panther Chameleon enclosure today, so hence the Panther Chameleon t-shirt. Now these are available on my store, and I'll leave links down in the description so if you want to go and check them out yourself. It's not just channel merch, it's stuff for fish keepers and reptile keepers and perfect gifts for birthdays, Christmas, blah, 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 blah. So, and again, you do a massive favour in supporting this channel, and it allows us then to improve the care of these animals and just to make things in terms of filming as best we can for you. But back to the dripper. So the dripper's been a success, I think. I have played around with how many drips I want come out of there, and that's the perfect thing about having that little valve on there. You can't alter it. So the last thing you want to do is not be able to alter it. It either floods your tank or you don't get enough, so at least you can tinker with it till you get it right. Now, like I mentioned to you before, I only added a small container full of water. I want to try and make sure it's fresh water, and I think if I put something up there that lasted a week, I'd forget to change it, or you know how it goes. So that is the reason why I've done that. But I really am keen to get some more updates on care requirements and more specific topics, really, especially around Bert. You know, hydration, humidity is a massive topic in the chameleon hobby, and it's usually the area a lot of people go wrong. I know it's something that I found more difficult to get my head around initially. But the more research you do, the better equipped you will be. Now, you know, watching videos like this helps, but you know, don't just watch my videos. There's a whole wealth of information out there in care sheets and YouTube videos. So the more you watch, the more you research, the better equipped you'll be to look after your animal. And this is obviously to aid in his hydration, more so than his humidity. I'll spray the tank down for humidity, and I am going to look to get a fogger on this as well. I'll explain the reasons why, but I want to try and get a 3-stage watering system on there, so it has a dripper, mister, and a fogger. And that'll just aid in humidity as well as its hydration. So really important for panther chameleons. Now, if you do want to know a little bit more about panther chameleons or lots of reptiles in general, it's really hard to find reliable sources or things you can trust, and people have such different opinions on these things. I'd always go and recommend your first port of call, reptiles. They usually have care sheets for most of the more commonly kept animals as well as some of the not so commonly kept animals, and they are such a good source of information. So I'll leave a link down in the description for reptiles as well as their care sheet for panther chameleons. I definitely recommend going and checking it out. But I think that's enough of me waffling on. There's plenty of new things to come. We've got the ball python trim has finally come for the Viv, so we can start making that, and full bioactive enclosure. I've ordered some stuff to start to do a terrascape as well as the ADA 30C, so 2 aquascapes on its way. And one slightly different you may not have seen something similar on this channel before. So if now is not the perfect time to subscribe, I don't know when it is. So if you can do me a massive favour and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out any future videos. As well, if you're a loyal viewer, if you can do a massive favour and do what you do, smash that like button, leave me a comment, show YouTube you're enjoying this sort of content, and allows me to make more videos like these. But I think that's enough of me talking. Definitely. And more time for coffee. And I'll see you in the next one.